In this next example, we will do two edge pickups to try to explain a little bit more about the wire position move page and how that functions. So please watch through to the this section of the video is very important. So don't skip over because you saw the previous edge pickup. So watch this next section, please. So I have a little more information to pass along. So what we're going to do is put the probe down in front of my workpiece here, and so we'll go to hit the function key and turn that probe on. So, but before I do that, I'm going to use the jog box and lift the Z up for a couple of seconds, and then I'll go ahead and send the probe down with that. So that'll give me enough room for that probe. Okay, and now we're going to jog the machine, put the MFR1 so it's not so fast, and jog the machine so the probe tip is in front of that edge. And we're going to do the pickup on the codeless page to pick up the approach face for the X minus for the first side. So say X minus, the probe diameter is in here. If it's metric, you're going to have 2.5 here, but we're an inch. And invert value, you're just going to zero that out. And I want the coordinates set on in G54 to flushing off. Okay, and then we're going to hit enter on the remote control box to start the cycle. And then that'll come up. The probe will touch the edge and it stops. Okay, so that's my first edge. And the display is showing you the half of the diameter of the probe right now, which is correct. So now I'm going to move the probe over to the other side and pick up in Y. So let me just jog the MFR1, jog the Z up, slide it over in X a little bit, and Y, and put the probe back down. So we're in front of that edge. Okay, and then we're going to come back to our controller and approach face. We're going to do the Y minus, and all of this information for the sizes is all the same as before. And then I will hit the enter on the keyboard. And then the machine comes and moves the probe to touch that edge. Okay. I'm going to lift the Z up just so I'm up off of the workpiece. Okay. So now let's look back at the machine control. It's showing the X at minus 400 thousandths, and the Y is at half the probe. So I had jogged when I eyeballed the jog, when I put the probe in, it was at minus 400 where it was when it did the touch off. So the probe's in location right now. I could move the machine to X and Y 0 if I wanted to, but it's not necessary at this point. So next step is to revert the probe offset. So we're going to go to the prepare page. You might have to click the next to see this wire position move. So you want to go on this wire position move page. And last time we used on. So we don't necessarily want to use on all the time. You want to use probably most of the time. This page actually going to be on off. So that'll just revert when it's on off. It's going to revert the probe offset. So the probe goes up and the offset reverts back. So the wire is in location and showing you these two numbers. So the wire would be back in location with whatever the X and whatever the Y is presently at. If you did use the on, like the last example, it's going to move it back, reverting the offset, and just call X and Y 0, which presently that's not correct. I could move the machine at X and Y 0, and then if I already had the machine at X, Y, and use the on, then it wouldn't really matter. Off and on would get the same effect. It's going to move to 0. So this time we're going to use off. The probe is up, and we're going to hit the enter on this. Okay, the machine slides back, canceling the probe offset, and let me zoom up on the control again. The X and Y is now showing you the two numbers, the 400 and the 098. So and that's presently where she's at. If I go ahead and go to the MDI page, and let's just say I move it to X0 and Y0, you can see, let me zoom up the camera, the wire, the center of the flush cup is on the corner. Let me show you the Canon, so let me zoom up on it. See, there's the flush cup here, and it's on X and Y0. And our display is showing X and Y0. So that's important to make note on that prepare page, the wire position move. Usually you want to use off here because that'll just revert the probe and the wire, swapping them so that your wire is now where the probe used to be, and the display is showing you the previous numbers. Even though the X and Y moved in to position, it's going to show you now the numbers. So it's like reverting that offset.